why your etcd upgrade is failing, and I'm not positive what the problem would be, because we've had these tests passing. We've been testing upgrades end to end for a couple weeks throughout the release process. So we're obviously doing something different from what you are.
Yeah, I can go with you each step. It's pretty basic. I can also give you my Terraform script for scaleway. It's a bare metal AMD 64. It takes 5 minutes to up the cluster, run Kubernetes, run kube upgrade, and you see the crash. So it's like
yeah. So
10 minutes away to see this.
You're installing the 196 release and then basically just trying to do an upgrade, and you're using the old version of kubeadm to install 196?
Yeah. So okay. I'm using apt-get to get the 196 version of kubectl, kubelet, and kubeadm. I do init with those versions. It works okay. I deploy the dashboard to test that everything works fine. It works. After that, I try. I get the new version of kubeadm 1.10 in a temp tier. I run that. It crashes with the gate stuff. I fix that, and after that, when I do upgrade, it will time out. I've posted the error message on the kubeadm Slack channel, if you can see that.
Not doing that.
So it's fatal error when trying to upgrade the etcd cluster. Timeout waiting for the condition, but it doesn't say which condition.
Yeah, all of that bootstrap stuff is very frustrating to debug, because the logs are kind of distributed with the kubelet, and depending on what level of functionality you have, sometimes they're like pods that you can't get logs from.
Yeah, I've been thinking a while ago that it'd be nice to actually have more direct control with a static pod. Like if you could write to kubelet socket or something and get some response back immediately, not like, wait for something to come up. Perhaps look in the log, fail at that.
Yeah. Is this something that CRI-CTL could potentially give us a little bit more? I don't know how to use that tool, but is that something that allows me to read like arbitrary static pod logs, like without a kube API server?
Yeah, I don't know. Has anybody else in the call used that? Yeah, and in general, I hear there was some mention of kubelet API. Last time I looked, there was only the old kubelet API. There was like a read-only cache of local pods, but I thought that was supposed to change. But I don't know if it did, or is that? I mean, it sounded like, I think, Tim was trying to tell me that some of that has changed and improved, and we moved on to like a new API in kubelet, but I'm not entirely sure where that leaves.
Okay.
Something to check on.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Somebody linked an issue for this kubeadm 196 upgrade thing. So
it looks like that's specifically for the config change for the feature gate, and not related to the etcd part of the upgrade failure.
Yeah, so there are two problems. One is the config problem, that deserialization crashes, and that's easy to fix manually. But a blocker for me. I don't know how to debug it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what our group's like approach is to handling a issue like this, and whether it seems like this would kind of be relatively high priority to figure out what's wrong. Can anybody else who's been around for longer than I have kind of comment on what we need to do here?
Well, I remember we had similar issues when it was upgrade from, I think, from 1.8 to 1.9, or maybe from 1.7 to 1.8. When once the fix was done, it was released as one of the first minor updates in a few days.
So we would just expect this for a point release a couple days from now, if we find a fix.
I think so. I think this kind of upgrade issues will be top priority cherry picks to releases.
And the chances are there'll be other things.
I mean, we already have one alpha feature on the list that's going to need a point release, and that's for the store secrets when it's self-hosted cluster. We forgot to add the new etcd CA and certificates to the self-hosted cluster for that feature. And so that feature is currently broken in 110, but I'm going to try to reproduce this locally.
So I was not using the self-hosted, I was just using the default install.
Yeah, I'm going to try 196 upgrade to 110 default, as you suggested. I think my current Vagrant setup tests 193. So maybe that there's something different in the cluster setup within those plant releases that's breaking it.
Yes, 194 was the config maps subpath, and I had to upgrade to 196 to solve that.
And I can go ahead and work on trying to reproduce it locally here as well, and I can work on syncing up with you on my findings with that lay as well.
I'd appreciate that, Jason. Stefan, did you say that there was somebody else who was reporting this issue as well?
Yep.
Do you have a link to that?
Yeah, if you go to the kubeadm Slack.
It's just in the Slack channel.
He discovered about the same time as me this morning, and because I was running on ARM, I deleted that cluster, create a normal cluster to test it again. I didn't want to jump to conclusions because ARM, the timeout could be ARM related because the CPU is very, very slow, but it wasn't the case. So I could reproduce it both on ARM v6 and AMD 64.
Would you be able to create an issue so that we can track it a little bit easier, Stefan, as well?
Yes. Should I create it in the kubeadm repo? The
That would
one
be great.
Yes.
with all the issues?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Just for the sake of the recording, we are addressing two issues that Stefan has brought up in relation to, well, the first is that the feature flags format has changed apparently, and that's not clear to the users. The second is that with the 194 to 110 Kubernetes upgrade, I believe that there's something wrong with a config map that requires a manual user intervention. And then the third is that the etcd TLS upgrade is apparently timing out on the 196 to 110 upgrade for kubeadm. So it seems like we've missed a couple stones on the 110 release here. Did I say all of that right, Stefan?
Yes, right.
Oh god, yeah, I was testing 191. So, do we do any kind of matrix testing for upgrades, like ever at any point in the release?
So there's supposed to be tests in test grid to test upgrades, but I don't know if they are currently blocking.
This might be something we need to keep a closer eye on. Stefan, would you mind linking your Terraform so that I can see which package, which apt packages you're using?
1 second, I didn't make that commit. So can I paste in this chat? Yeah. So these are the packages.
Perfect. And then to do the upgrade, do I just do a apt get upgrade on these packages to 110, I guess?
I didn't get to that. So first you download the kubeadm new binary 1.10 to a different directory, a temp directory, and run from there upgrade. So upgrading the packages is the last step. First, you need to run the pods upgrade, right? And after that, you upgrade the packages.
Okay. So I wouldn't upgrade the kubelet package yet?
Yeah, no.
So on the 196 kubelet, I would run, and the 196 cluster, I would use the new 110 kubeadm.
Yeah, but without upgrading the kubeadm package, just download the...
Is there a specific reason? Is there something else in the kubeadm package?
So as far as I know, you cannot use apt upgrade for kubeadm until you upgrade the pods.
Okay, cool. I'll just grab a 110 binary, and that'll be how I replicate what you're doing.
At least this is the official documentation on Kubernetes website.
Yeah. Spin up this vagrant and check it out. Okay, so Jason and I are kind of off to the races on that issue. Before we turn this into a complete debugging call, what else do we have? Seems like Stefan's 3 issues that he brought up are the only ones. Thank you, Matt, for posting that. Are there other pressing things that we should bring up on this call? I know you started talking about the Kubernetes API.
Oh no, that was just a sidebar.
Cool.
I think it would be good to see what's there, but I don't know entirely sure if that was in progress.
Matt, I know you have your open KEP still. I haven't looked at it, but if you want to speak to anything that you're looking for from us, then feel free to take the floor.
No new updates really. Working on the proof of concept more actively now. I finally am at a stage where I can iterate quickly. I'm using your Vagrant repo, which is very nice. Thanks for that. Should have an update end of this week or next week.
Cool. Looking forward to that. And then And that's for multi-master config map compatibility, right?
Right.
A rough description of that feature. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a very strange limitation. I didn't know about that. No. I guess that's what you get for always just building binaries manually. I don't think I've ever tried to use like a newer kubeadm package to upgrade a cluster.
I think the only reason why it might be conflicting is because between the versions, we might have changes for kubelet default flags, and those kubelet flags were coming from kubeadm package, where like systemd drop-in is located there. So if there is no changes in defaults, I think it will be safer even to update the package.
So maybe this docstring is a little bit overzealous in saying that it will result in a failed upgrade, maybe under certain cases between particular kubeadm versions, there's incompatibilities. Is that what you're saying, Alex?
Yeah, might be.
I took that from the 1.8 to 1.9 docs, I believe, just for reference. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly the releases when we had the incompatible changes in the flags for kubelet. I think the bootstrap config was introduced at that time, and it was a couple of feature gates, which was like if you try to use the new flags with old kubelet binary, the start of kubelet will fail.
And this is also something that dynamic kubelet config tries to address, right?
Not completely. So dynamic kubelet config, in my understanding, it helps to propagate all the parameters, which is exactly the same for all nodes. So if you have for particular node the parameter which is applicable only for one node, like host name or node IP port or something like that, when it's not part of kubelet API configs.
And so if we're expecting, because the kubelet is, the only component that we're not running in a static pod, obviously. So this makes a kubeadm upgrade kind of two-pronged, I suppose. Like, does it do up the control first and then now roll out the, okay. This is something I don't know anything about. This probably doesn't apply for non-master nodes, though.
Yeah, for non-master nodes, we only just you replace the kubelet binary and kubeadm binary to get proper kubelet startup flags, and that's it. You restart it. But again, you upgrade nodes only after you upgrade the control plane.
Yeah. So that's basically the same step then. That's where you would be doing the rolling update on your masters and your nodes to get the new kubelet version. Okay. Yeah.
I have a question, actually. For these changes in the format of config map, one of the issues what we just talked about, did anyone looked, can we actually create some tweak inside kubeadm to automatically reformat that object? I think it should be quite trivial to update it.
I feel that should be in the upgrade phase. I think that's the proper approach for sure.
So maybe someone can file the issue and maybe some of contributors can look at it.
I'm not sure if I'm quite following the question, but if you wanted to have something to sort of comment on, there's this kept out right now.
I don't believe that this is related to the functionality that you're talking about, Matt. I think this is
you're
related.
talking about the upgrade issue today.
Yeah, the bug for 194 that Stefan brought up.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Although it's in a very similar space. So if you're familiar with those code paths, then that might be a cool place to open an issue and fix that. Okay, I'm spinning up a 196 cluster.
I've added a link to the issue.
I'll take a look at that for sure. I'm not sure when everybody joined the call, so if we have new people on who are kind of out of the loop with why the call format is a little different. Basically, we've had Stefan brought up 3 bug reports related to kubeadm upgrades. But if you are here for other reasons, so to bring other agenda items to the group, then please feel free to speak up and we can address what you would like to talk about.
So I know we were just talking about in the channel, and I don't know if this is the right place to do this, but the dynamic kube API server flags, would this be the right group to try and start addressing that?
Oh, what Chris brought up?
Yeah.
Yeah, that we kind of have a need for it at Heptio to be able to dynamically configure those runtime flags in some way where I may not necessarily be the one in the cluster. So similar to like dynamic off configuration, how they have that. I think that got in 1.9, doing something similar to that. But for some of the other flags, or maybe all the flags, would this be the right spot maybe?
With what I know, I believe that this is the right group.
Okay.
I know that Lucas is particularly authoritative in this space.
Okay.
But he's currently in a hiatus for the moment.
So I think the probably a good starting point for this, Patrick, would be to open up a GitHub issue that highlights your questions and which features you would want, and then we can go and bring that up either on this call or the SIG Cluster Lifecycle call on Tuesdays.
Okay, sounds good.
searching right now for the existing set of issues about dynamic component.
Yeah, I skimmed through them last night, and I could not find anything related to Kube API. I mean, obviously, there's the kubelet stuff that just get in. Dynamic, admission controllers. I haven't seen anything for Kube API. I've heard it talked about a lot, but I was pretty surprised to not find an issue on it.
So maybe you can give a quick example. What kind of flux you are thinking about?
I primarily focus on the audit flags at the moment. So being able to change those audit configurations on the fly without having to reboot everything would be super handy.
Are you guys thinking about using this for Sonobuoy?
Not for Sonobuoy. We are trying to build out an audit product as well. So this would be just how do we configure audits on any given cluster, and we may not, be the administrator of that cluster necessarily.
Yeah, I would really like to see a proposal of which flags concretely you're thinking of and how you would want to use them. And that way we can sort of all look at that concurrently, gather our thoughts, and bring it up probably next week.
Yep, I will. I'll get that together. I know we'll probably put that together this week, and I guess I'll throw it up and chat with you guys more on it. So.
Okay, there's an agenda for this call and for next week. We could add that too as well.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, do you want to take care of that, Patrick? Do you have the link to the agenda?
Is that just the one you guys paste up in the Slack channel?
It's in the calendar invite for both this call and the other one too, and I think Lee just shared it as well.
All right, perfect. Jump in there.
Stefan, your cluster is just a single node, right?
Sorry, I was muted. Just a master node would be enough.
Cool, thanks.
But I have also worker node, so I didn't get to that part to actually do something on a worker node.
So in addition to the 196 upgrade not expecting to be functioning, you also have to modify this config map. So the 194 case applies to the 196 cluster.
So no. So the config map changed between 196 and 1.10.
Yeah. The bug that we see from 194 to 110 for the config map format change is also applicable for 196 to 1910.
Yes.
Or sorry, 196 to 110.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So so you have to work through 2 bugs in order to replicate this. Okay.
Yeah, I have to fix the config map before running upgrade. I've explained on the ticket how I can do this easily.
Yeah, I'm looking at that ticket right now, and I'm gonna add some notes for my clarification. So editing the config map is for the other issue that we linked. So we can probably link this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll link it in the body.
Okay. Next to the update or the config map step. Thank you. Cool.
So, is there anything we're going to discuss on this call, do you think, or?
Yeah, I think as far as the group goes, we've weeded out all of our agenda items, and now this is just a space for us to debug. So we can probably end the call.
Okay, I can stop the recording and I'll upload it to our playlist.
Thanks for jumping on and doing that, Chris.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye, everyone.
See everyone in 15 minutes on the Cluster API call.
Oh, yeah.